Dungeon Defenders is a game developed by Trendy Entertainment that combines the slow tactical tower defense genre with fast and fluid third-person action RPG elements. But is it a match made in heaven, or does the game suffer for trying to accomplish too much? As the game tells you, Eternia was once a land of living legends until it was attacked by an evil known only as the Old Ones. Yes, I know, original name, but anyway. 4 brave heroes stood up to this attack and quelled it. Now years later, the heroes are called away to another quest while their apprentices are left to maintain the castle. Of course, all hell breaks loose and the apprentices manage to release the ultimate evil, and now they'll have to band together if they want to bring down this threat. The object of the game is pretty simple. Use whatever means possible to defend the little gems called Eternia crystals. You can place down defenses in the build phase and engage enemies in the combat phase. There are also challenge levels that mix up the formula by having the crystal move or remove it altogether. Now, let's start by taking a look at the good. The game effortlessly combines tower defense mechanics with action RPG elements to create a rewarding and seamless experience. There are 4 playable characters, meaning 4 different play types. The Apprentice is the most user-friendly of the group, and he's good for beginners since it specializes in ranged magic, so he doesn't have to get too close to the battlefield. The Huntress utilizes ranged weapons and deadly traps to keep her enemies at bay, and she's a bit more tactical to use. The Squire is the tank of the team, preferring to go up close and personal with the enemy, and the Monk is a fusion of the other 3, and he's the most difficult character to play as since it requires a lot of skill to play both defensively and offensively. The weapon system is really fleshed out. You can level up individual weapons with cash and then eventually name them. A weapon that has higher stats than another weapon isn't necessarily better. If a weapon with 300 direct damage can only be upgraded 4 times, then it's actually weaker than a weapon that only does 40 damage but can be upgraded up to 15 times. Finding weapons with a lot of upgrade slots is the key to forging the ultimate weapon. All the characters also get their own little hangout spot in the form of a tavern, and no, I'm not going to comment on why these 10-year-olds are using a bar as their hub. Maybe they drink ginger ale, I don't know. Anyway, you can use this area to buy and upgrade weapons as well as calculate the damage you do. So now let's look at the bad. Although Dungeon Defenders is a fun and rewarding experience, it doesn't get that way for quite a while. When you first start the game, it's a chore just to continue playing. You start off with the most pitiful weapons that do the most pathetic damage, and you move so slow. I almost turned off my console after 4 hours of playing it because it's just so boring and tedious to hold down the attack button and kill the same enemies over and over again. And it's too bad too, since a lot of people I met online had that reason to stop playing. If you get bored of single player and want to head online, you can join up to 3 other players in their adventure. Unfortunately, take this for what you will, but the game's been overrun by modders. I don't think I found more than 5 rooms in the game that actually didn't have a modder running around with some overcompensating weapon that does ridiculous amounts of damage. But if you do find a lobby of pure players, then it's a lot of fun to tactically combine traps with other heroes for some pretty ridiculous results. We call this here the Disco Bridge. Yeah, nothing gets by it. Dungeon Defenders has an excellent score with a lot of memorable pieces, topped off by what I consider to be one of my favorite themes of all time. I mean, when I first boot up this game and I heard this, yeah, you know shit's about to go down. Also, you may not notice it, but every level's theme is slightly remixed 2 times for the build phase and the combat phase, which is a nice touch. The voice acting is nothing more than a few loud grunts and squeaks a la the LEGO series, but it feels right with this type of game. The game is no downer in the graphics department. Its crisp visuals and deep colors really bring out the whole experience. At the same time though, the game can barely handle the amount of enemies on screen. For a game that's all about being swarmed by enemies, it would be nice if it didn't lag every single round. This lag is doubled when you factor in online, by the way. And there's a few clipping issues, but I mean every single game that comes out nowadays has those. Dungeon Defenders isn't a bad game, it's just a really tedious game that requires hours of grinding before you can really get into it. However, if you're willing to put up with the tedium, and you have a few friends that own it, then it's a real blast, and it also helps if you have a friend who's willing to empty his entire inventory for you. Thank you, Cerberus. Thank you, Tagum. I would have never gotten through this game if it weren't for you guys. Also, just for the heck of it, I want to point this out. There's pets in the game that you can use and they help you in battle, and there's a giraffe on a treadmill. How f***ing awesome is that? As the game tells you, Eternia was once a land of living legends until it was attacked by an evil known as the Old Ones. I know, original name, but stay with me here. Anyway, 4 brave heroes stood up to this attack and quelled it. Now years later, As the game tells you, Eternia was once a land of living legends until it was attacked by an evil known as the Old Ones. Yes, I know, original, but stay with me here. 4 brave heroes stood up to this attack and quelled it. Now years later. Oh, God. It's going to be a long day.